Hi everyone, welcome to the 5th episode of Learn Angular from the scratch. So today's focus is primarily on building the cart component. But before that, if you haven't watched my previous video, then please pause this and watch that first. I had to re-upload it because of a music copyright issue. The link is given in the description box. Also, the GitHub link for this project is also given in the description, like always. So go check that out as well. Now coming back to today's video, we'll start by modifying the routes a bit so that even the unauthorized users are also able to view the products, and finally add them to cart. Later during checkout, unauthorized users will be navigated to sign up page. Then as a part of this, we'll introduce a custom HTTP interceptor and take you through all its various utilities. After the previous two prerequisites are done, we'll be jumping into creating the UI for cart component. Finally, I will show you a very simple add to cart implementation using LocalStorage. In the next episode, I'll cover the same using mongoose-store, which is basically based upon session storage. This is the dashboard wireframe which I'm gonna follow in today's video. Alright, then let's start with the first task. Now we are in the app routing file where I'll make a couple of adjustments. First part would be to change this default redirection to prod instead. As I already mentioned before, now we don't want to restrict the unauthorized users. The second thing is to remove the auth guard from the prod route for the same reason. Let's see what happens now. Now it's throwing a 404 for get all products. As it is no more pointing to our Express backend URL. So in app config service, by the time this environment JSON is returning the base URL, get all product is already done with its execution. That's the reason this base URL is empty during the service call. Call is coming from on init of dashboard, then it reaches here in app config. One brute force way is to apply a subscription to the service call, which will wait for the environment JSON to finish. But we'll do something else. We'll create a custom HTTP interceptor by using CLI commands. Before getting into coding, let me tell you, Angular Interceptor, which is basically a middleware tool that provides a way to intercept HTTP requests and response to transform or handle them before passing them. Since interceptors are capable of mutating requests and response, there are a ton of things like converting XML response to JSON, error profiling, showing loader while HTTP calls, manipulating URL for example, you want to change HTTP to HTTPS, etc. All this can be achieved by this. As per the Angular documentation, need to import HTTP interceptors first and then add this to the provider and open app module.ts. Okay, here let's clear some mess first. These services are already provided in root, so no need to be here. Delete it. Also, I don't need IDM module here. Now paste. Copy, paste. Class name is custom HTTP interceptor. Now simply clone the request and change the URL. So this environment JSON only for base URL is not worth at all. Instead, Angular has already provided an environment folder, moving this base URL here only. Then we can provide this base URL from app module like this. So this can be injected anywhere in the application. Use value environment.base URL. I forgot to add this into prod environment. That's it. Now this base URL can be injected here. And modify the request URL like this. There should be a quote. Assuming the base URL thing is handled by the interceptor, we can remove a lot of noise from app config. Completely delete these things. One more benefit of using interceptor is setting headers like this, storing the changed request into a constant, and we are good to go. Before going ahead, I just want to tell you this is our module diagram. So as of now, IDM will be loaded on demand only, and we are not forcing any user to visit it basically. After adding HTTP interceptor, this is how the app module looks. Very nice and clean. We need to modify header template for unauthenticated users so that there is a navigation link for login or sign up. Created these utilities. To use them, just add IDM as a dependency, and that's all. So I have modified this profile link into a drop-down. If is logged in returns false, sign in will appear in the drop-down. Otherwise, they should see a orders link. To get this drop-down thing working, I need Bootstrap.js, which can be downloaded from the Bootstrap CDN easily. And finally, paste it. Then just add this into Angular JSON scripts array. Also, we need jQuery for this, which again is downloaded from its official site. Just pasting it in the same path. Not like looking very cool, but okay for now. Navigation is also happening. Let me log in now. Yeah, it is changing. It is changed to orders, which is yet to be implemented. Till now, we were using Angular's fav icon, which was not looking good. So I'm just creating one customized fav icon. This is how it looks. Thought of adding a dashboard background as well. So going forward, creating cart component to hold the cart items. Adding static HTML for now. Cart link on the nav bar. And badge to display the total number of items added to cart. Adding a cart route as well under the product route. So this is how the static table looks like. Navigation is also up. Upon clicking continue shopping, users will be taken to dashboard page. Creating a banner component just for look and feel. After adding banner component, this is how the product module looks like so far. For banner, I'll use carousel provided by Bootstrap. Simply copy this template, open banner template and paste. I've got a couple of banner images for this demo, not at all professional though. Muffins and one more I think is burger.png. Done. Just adding this over here in the dashboard. Alright, so this is how it appears now. For cart, there is no change. Everything looks fine. Now we need a field to display the number of times a specific product is added to cart. Also adding a click handler to the add to cart button. This Mongo collection ID will come handy now. Now let's create a cart service which will handle all the cart related data. One for total quantity basically for header, other one for specific product quantity. As I already mentioned, I will be using local storage for storing cart items. So cart items should receive the entire list of products in string format. Each element will have its ID as key and entire product info object as value. Initially though, nothing will be there. For total quantity, we need to iterate through all the items and store quantity value for each item. Oh, forgot to parse the JSON string cart items. I think same method can be modified for other properties as well. So let's take the property name as argument. No need to mention quantity now. Also, this will be replaced by prop. Adding cart as dependency to make use of those methods. Also, we need plus minus button next to each add to cart button. Replacing the static value with this. Need click handler on these plus minus buttons as well. One new method to remove items from the list is needed now. All the implementation should be there inside cart service only. This add will add items into cart and return their current quantity. Similarly, remove will remove items from the cart. There will be a lot of change in these methods later, but we'll see. Inside this add method, we are getting the product from local storage. Increasing its quantity by 1 and then updating it to local storage. Same ways, reducing the quantity inside remove button. I'll take care of the pricing later. Now I think better to hide this add to cart button when already an item is added. Plus minus buttons are capable of handling it. Same way, initially these buttons should be hidden. Okay, as expected, there are a bunch of errors. We'll see that, but let me finish the implementation first. So I came to header component where I need to show the actual number of items added to cart. I'll just copy paste my existing properties and do the same here as well. Property name should be QTY, right? Now let's get into issue fixing. It's complaining that I didn't take care of the initial scenario where cart item is null. So adding a basic null check here. Otherwise, so if no item is added, then what will I increase? So therefore, in this scenario, we need to push the entire product info into cart. Hence, modifying the method signature to accept product info instead of the string ID. Copy paste. Only need to add QTY here. Since cart item was null, reassigning it to product info first, which has key quantity with value 1. Wait. No, cart item should be an empty object initially. Then the product ID will be the key and product info will be the value. Yeah, that is the expectation. Adjusting the return statement, as the cart item may not be available all the time. So if cart is non-empty, then I'll get this item, increase its quantity and reset the cart. Else we'll push the product info into cart after making the quantity as 1. For remove, ID was enough, change was not at all required here. Again reverting the method called signatures. Next thing, inside get total item by prop, this cart item is an object. So replacing the for each with a for in statement. The logic remains same. This is a convention for in loop to add this if condition. Okay. Replacing the same for get item quantity as well. But this method is redundant. Yeah. And get total item by prop can easily be adjusted for this one. If this optional ID is available, method will calculate only for a particular item. Otherwise, it will compute the whole cart. That's what I'm trying to do here. Updating the call statement to pass product ID and quantity as property. Now coming back to the header where we need to show the total number of items. To receive changes in cart on the fly, adding a getter setter to this property. Otherwise, we had to take help of RxJ subjects, but this looks way cleaner and lighter as well. Now this QTY added to cart is directly getting data from the cart service and will be updated as and when there is a change in local storage cart item. No need of this ng on in it. Getting back to the cart service once again, same null check had to happen for remove as well. If item is available, then reduce the quantity. Otherwise, delete the entire element from the cart. If only one element is left. This ID is getting shadowed. I didn't notice that time. Fixed. Now coming to price calculation, just adding the current price to it. This is how it works now, but the price value is getting concatenated with each other. After adding %, the individual price calculation is working fine. Good enough. Now use the same cart service method for the cart component as well. Till now the cart component was showing static data. The first task is to get the entire list of items stored in cart items local storage. And then making these values dynamic. Nope, some error. Again, for each won't work for objects, so converting it to equivalent array. Finally, restricting the height and width of the product images. Let's make it 50 pixel then. More error. Some more fixing. Total price can be fetched using the same utility method from getTotalItemByProp under cart service. For now, let's ignore the shipping and other miscellaneous costs. Again, concatenation is happening here as well. I'll look into it later. Here also I'm creating getter setter for the cart items property for the same reason. Changes in local storage will be readily available without the use of any at output or RxJS subjects. Deletion is working fine now. Now I'm modifying add method so that any number of items can be added or removed at a time, which will be entered from the quantity text box in the cart page. Okay, now if times is not available, then as usual only one item will be added. Otherwise, that many items will be added to cart. Calling this from the change event handler. Not working still. Anyway, I'll come to that, but we need to adjust this remove button as well to remove multiple quantities of an item in one shot. So if ID is not passed, then delete the entire item. Yeah. Price calculation should be fixed now. The price of one item in 2 times should give us the correct price. We'll see. Finally, the cart is working as expected after making some more corrections. Only thing left is we need to display a success message after each cart updation. So that's what I'm doing now. Copy the typical alert from Bootstrap site and pasted here inside header under the nav bar block. Also, I want to show the current count if cart items here, current count of cart items here as well, next to a cart icon, on click of which user will be taken to cart page. So introducing a new subject called cart subject that will communicate with other components. So for now only, if someone updates their cart, this property will emit an event with relevant data. Now simply subscribe to this cart service event and toggle the alert message. So if the data argument is added, then this message will appear. Otherwise, just display removed successfully. Looks pretty decent now. Now, even if you close your browser or your system and open it later also, let's see, it should work. Yes, so you should see the same thing whatever you have added. So that's the benefit of using a local storage. This was entirely an UI side implementation of a cart with zero backend logic. Of course, it has its security issues as the data is maintained in the client side. Hence, another way is to maintain this using session, which I'll try to cover in my next video. So this brings us to the end of today's video. If you learned something new, please hit the like button, and if you are new to this channel, then please consider subscribing to it. Thank you for watching.